Waitress spent her last $10 helping a CEO. Next day, 50 millionaires brought something life-changing. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. Imagine working your hardest day after day, knowing you have only a few dollars to make ends meet. And then, in a single moment, everything changes. Mia had been a waitress for years, serving endless cups of coffee, plates of steak, and bowls of soup in a small, cozy restaurant in downtown Manhattan. It wasn't glamorous, but she liked the job. The tips weren't great, but they were enough to cover the bills. Well, most of the time. Mia had a little girl to care for, and with her rent overdue and her daughter's school supplies needed, her bank account was almost empty. One day, just as she was about to leave her shift, a well-dressed man came in. His suit was sharp, his shoes polished, and his expression was one of someone who was used to getting what he wanted. This man was Jack Anderson, a tech mogul who had built his empire from the ground up, and he was known for being ruthless in his business dealings. Mia wasn't impressed. She had dealt with plenty of rich people who acted like they owned the world, and she had no interest in getting tangled in their drama. As Mia approached Jack's table, he barely looked up from his phone. "I'll have the filet mignon, medium rare, and a side of truffle mac and cheese," he said, still glued to his screen. Mia wrote it down and was about to walk away when Jack added, almost as an afterthought, "And I'll have some sparkling water with that." As she turned to leave, she noticed something. His face had a troubled look, like the weight of the world was pressing down on him. It wasn't her business, but she could tell that something was wrong. She made her way back to the kitchen to place the order, but couldn't shake the feeling that Jack's day wasn't going as smoothly as he'd hoped. When she brought his food to the table, she couldn't help but notice how distant he seemed. Mia was used to these types of customers. The ones who sat in their corner, staring at their phones, too important to even acknowledge the people around them. But Mia wasn't about to let that affect her. She placed the plate down gently in front of him. Jack looked up from his phone for the first time, briefly meeting her eyes. "Thanks," he muttered. Then, just as she was about to leave, he added, "Do you think you could help me with something?" Mia paused, unsure of what was coming next. "What do you need help with?" she asked, her voice steady. Jack hesitated. "I've been stuck in this business deal, and I don't know what to do. It's a mess, and I'm losing my mind over it. Can you help me figure it out?" Mia blinked, surprised. This was not the kind of conversation she expected from someone like him. She had no idea about the deal he was talking about, but she could tell that he was genuinely struggling. Despite her own financial stress, Mia felt a sudden, overwhelming need to help him. "Look, I can't help with business stuff, but I can listen if you want to talk," she said softly. Jack looked at her for a moment, then sighed. "I guess I could use someone who isn't part of the problem," he admitted. They talked for a while, Jack unloading his frustrations about the business deal. Mia didn't offer any advice, but she listened, something that Jack hadn't gotten much of lately. At the end of their conversation, Jack stood up, looking at Mia with a new sense of respect. "I don't know what it is about you, but I feel better now," he said. "Thanks for listening." Mia smiled. "No problem. It's just what I do." She turned to leave, but then Jack called out, "Wait, I'm sorry, but I've got to ask, are you okay? You seem a bit off, like you're carrying something heavy." Mia froze. She had never thought about it like that, but in that moment, she realized she had been carrying the weight of her life for so long. "I'm fine," she said quickly, trying to hide the exhaustion in her voice. But Jack wasn't done yet. "Look," he said, taking out his wallet. "I don't know what you're going through, but here's $10. Take it, and I hope it helps in some way." Mia hesitated, but she knew she couldn't refuse. It wasn't a lot, but in that moment, that $10 felt like a lifeline. "Thanks," she said softly. "I'll make sure it helps." Little did she know, that small gesture would set off a chain of events that would change both their lives forever. As the days went by, Mia couldn't shake the encounter with Jack from her mind. The $10 he had given her seemed like so much more in her hands. She had been struggling to make ends meet for so long, and yet, that small act of kindness from someone she barely knew had meant more to her than she could explain. But as much as it lifted her spirits, the reality of her life came crashing back down. Her rent was still overdue, and her daughter, Lily, had been asking for new shoes that she couldn't afford. Mia had hoped that the money would help her at least get through the week, but she couldn't rely on handouts forever. Jack's words had stuck with her, though. He had listened to her without judgment, something that had been rare in her life. She didn't expect him to reach out again, but the weight of his kindness lingered, a reminder that maybe there was more to life than just scraping by. It was a cold Wednesday afternoon when Mia's phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. She hesitated, wondering if it was another bill collector, but curiosity got the better of her. The message read, "Mia, this is Jack Anderson. I wanted to thank you again for your help the other day. I've been thinking about our conversation, and I would like to meet you to discuss something. If you're available, let me know. I'll make it worth your time." Mia's heart skipped a beat. Jack Anderson wanted to meet her? She stared at the message for a long time, her mind racing. Could it be possible that he had been serious when he said he wanted to help? She hadn't expected anything, but now she found herself wondering what this could mean. She wasn't sure if she was ready for this, but she knew that she had to at least find out. A meeting with someone like Jack Anderson could change everything for her, and if there was even the slightest chance that he could help, she had to take it. She quickly typed back, "I'm available. When and where would you like to meet?" The response came almost immediately. "Tomorrow, at 3 o'clock. I'll send you the address. Looking forward to it." The next day, Mia couldn't concentrate. She spent the whole morning thinking about what might happen at the meeting. She had never been in a situation like this before. The world of business and high-profile CEOs felt like a distant reality, one that didn't have much to do with her life as a waitress. But she couldn't deny that Jack's message had sparked a small flicker of hope in her. What if he was offering her an opportunity? What if this was her chance to finally get out of the financial hole she had been stuck in for so long? When 3 o'clock arrived, Mia found herself standing in front of a sleek, modern building in downtown Manhattan. The address Jack had sent her led her to a towering skyscraper with glass walls and a polished marble entrance. She felt out of place in her simple black dress, the same uniform she wore at the restaurant, but she couldn't back out now. She took a deep breath, straightened her shoulders, and walked inside. The lobby was grand, with shiny floors and an air of quiet sophistication. A receptionist greeted her, but Mia could see the woman's eyes scanning her from head to toe, clearly judging her appearance. "May I help you?" the receptionist asked in a tone that was polite but cold. "I'm here to see Mr. Anderson," Mia said, trying to sound confident. "Do you have an appointment?" the receptionist asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yes, for 3 o'clock, Mia replied, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. The receptionist checked her computer and then nodded. "You're on the list. Please take a seat." Mia sat down, her nerves growing by the second. She tried to keep calm, but the silence around her felt suffocating. She glanced around at the sleek offices, wondering what it would be like to work in a place like this. After what felt like an eternity, a man in a dark suit walked up to her. "Mia," he asked. She stood up quickly. "Yes, I'm Mia. I'm David Mercer, Mr. Anderson's chief of staff. Please follow me." David led her down a long hallway, and Mia couldn't help but feel the weight of the building around her. The walls were lined with large windows, offering a breathtaking view of the city below. They stopped in front of a massive corner office, and David knocked before entering. "Mr. Anderson," he said, "Mia is here." Jack stood up from behind his desk, smiling warmly as he extended his hand. "Mia, it's good to see you again." Mia shook his hand, still in disbelief that she was standing here. "Thanks for meeting me," Jack continued. "Please, have a seat." As Mia sat down, Jack motioned for David to leave the room. Once they were alone, Jack leaned forward, his tone becoming more serious. "Mia, I've been thinking about what you said the other day, about how you just wanted to help, and I think that's the kind of attitude I need around me. I've been looking for someone with a fresh perspective, someone who isn't afraid to challenge the norm. I want to offer you a position at my company." Mia's mind raced. "What kind of position?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm offering you the chance to join my team. I'm starting a new project, and I believe your skills, your ability to think outside the box, could be invaluable. The job would come with a generous salary, benefits, and the opportunity to make a real difference." Mia couldn't believe what she was hearing. She had never even imagined a job like this, let alone one with someone as powerful as Jack Anderson. She didn't know if she was qualified, but she also knew that this could be the chance of a lifetime. Mia sat in the plush chair, still in disbelief at what Jack had just offered. A job with his company? Her mind raced as she tried to process what this could mean for her future. She had spent years waiting tables, barely scraping by, and now here she was in a high-rise office, being offered a chance to change everything. Jack sat across from her, watching her closely, clearly waiting for her response. "What do you think?" he asked, his voice calm but expectant. Mia hesitated. This was a world she wasn't sure she belonged in, a world filled with business deals and multi-million-dollar decisions. "I don't know," she said slowly, her voice faltering. "I've never worked in anything like this before. I mean, I've always been a waitress. I've never done anything corporate." Jack smiled, his expression warm but serious. "That's exactly what I'm looking for. You've got a fresh perspective. You've been working with people, listening, helping. That's a skill you can't teach. You've got something most people here don't." Mia felt a slight flush rise in her cheeks. She had never been good at taking compliments, but there was something about Jack's sincerity that made her feel like maybe, just maybe, she could do this. "I'm not sure if I'm ready for something like this," she admitted, looking down at her hands in her lap. "What if I fail?" Jack's eyes softened. "Mia, you won't fail. You'll learn. And I'll be here to guide you. This is your chance to do something bigger than you ever imagined. Don't let fear hold you back." His words hit her harder than she expected. She had spent her whole life afraid of failure, afraid of never being enough. But here was Jack, offering her a lifeline, a real chance. She thought about her daughter, Lily, and the better life she wanted to give her. The opportunity to provide for her in ways Mia had only dreamed of. "I'll do it," Mia said, her voice firmer now. "I'll take the job." Jack's smile widened. "That's what I like to hear." He reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a contract. "Here's the paperwork. You'll start as an assistant to one of my senior managers, but you'll be moving up quickly. You've got the skills, Mia. I can see it." Mia took the contract, feeling a surge of excitement and fear. This was the beginning of something new, something huge. But she also knew she was stepping into a world that could swallow her whole if she wasn't careful. "What do I need to do?" she asked, taking the contract in her hands and flipping through the pages. "Just sign here, and we'll set up your first day. We're looking for someone to help with client relations, marketing, and a few special projects. I think you'll be great at it." Jack stood and extended his hand. "Welcome to the team, Mia." Mia shook his hand, still processing everything. She had just stepped into a world she never thought she would be a part of, but now she had a chance to make something of herself. The next day, Mia woke early, her nerves buzzing with anticipation. She had a million thoughts racing through her head. What if she didn't measure up? What if she made a mistake? But she pushed those thoughts aside. Today was a new day, and she had to give it her all. She took the subway to work, her mind still spinning, and when she walked into the building, the reality of the situation hit her. This was it. She was in a whole new world. As she entered the office, the sleek, modern interior surrounded her, making her feel small and out of place. She found her desk and sat down, her hands shaking slightly as she turned on her computer. She knew she had a lot to learn, but she was determined. She was here now, and she wasn't going to waste this chance. Over the next few days, Mia immersed herself in her new role. She worked closely with the senior managers, learning the ins and outs of the business. She was surprised at how much she enjoyed the work, even though it was challenging. There were moments when she felt overwhelmed, but Jack was always there, guiding her, encouraging her. One afternoon, as she was finishing a report for one of the meetings, Jack called her into his office. "Mia, how's everything going?" he asked, looking up from his desk. "Good," she replied, trying to hide her nervousness. "I'm learning a lot." Jack nodded. "You're doing great. I've been keeping an eye on you, and I think it's time for you to start taking on more responsibility." Mia's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" "I want you to start handling some of our bigger clients," Jack said, leaning back in his chair. "I've got faith in you, Mia. You've got a way with people. It's time you took that to the next level." Mia was stunned. This was moving faster than she had ever imagined. But there was no turning back now. She had to rise to the occasion. "I won't let you down," she said, her voice filled with determination. "I know you won't," Jack replied, smiling. "I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do." Mia left his office with a new sense of purpose. This was her chance to prove herself, to show that she could not only survive in this world, but thrive. She couldn't let fear stop her now. She had a future to build, and she was ready to fight for it. Mia couldn't believe how much had changed in just a few weeks. When she first walked into Jack's office, she never could have imagined how quickly her life would shift. She had gone from serving coffee and breakfast at a diner to working in the fast-paced world of business. But with every challenge, Mia found herself growing more confident. Jack had kept his word. He had given her the chance to rise up, and now, with each new project, she was proving that she could handle more than she ever thought possible. Her phone buzzed on her desk one afternoon. It was a message from Jack. "Mia, I need you in my office right away. We've got a meeting in 30 minutes with a new client." Mia quickly grabbed her notes and rushed to Jack's office. Her heart pounded a little faster. This was another one of those moments she had been preparing for. As she entered his office, Jack was already on the phone, but he gestured for her to sit. "This is going to be important, Mia. Our new client is someone who could bring in a huge deal, but we need to impress them. I want you to handle the presentation. Show them what we've been working on for the past month." Mia nodded, a little nervous, but she could feel the excitement bubbling inside her. She had never been in charge of something this big before, but she had also never been more ready. Jack gave her a few last-minute pointers, then sent her to meet the client. As she walked into the conference room, Mia felt a wave of anxiety. The client was a powerful business tycoon, someone who had made a name for himself in the financial world. He had a reputation for being tough and demanding, and Mia had heard stories about how difficult it was to impress him. But she pushed those fears aside. She was here to prove herself. Mia stood at the front of the room, her notes in hand, and began her presentation. She talked about the company's recent growth, the innovative solutions they had been developing, and the impact they could have on the client's business. As she spoke, she could see the client's interest growing. His expression shifted from skepticism to curiosity. Mia kept going, confident in her knowledge, and by the end of the meeting, the client was nodding in approval. When the meeting concluded, Jack walked over to her. "You did great," he said, giving her a small but sincere smile. "I knew you had it in you." Mia felt a sense of accomplishment wash over her. She had just taken on one of the biggest challenges of her career, and she had come through. As they left the meeting room, Jack turned to her with a more serious expression. "Mia, there's something else I need to discuss with you. You've been doing outstanding work here, but there's more I want to offer you." Her heart skipped a beat. "Was this a promotion?" "What do you mean?" she asked, trying to keep her excitement in check. Jack looked at her thoughtfully. "I want you to take on more responsibility. I'm putting together a new team for a major project, and I think you'd be a perfect fit. This could be your chance to lead something big." Mia felt her breath catch in her throat. This was it, the opportunity she had been waiting for. "I'd love to, Jack," she said, her voice steady with determination. Jack smiled. "I thought you'd say that. I'm going to put you in charge of the team. You'll be working directly with our top clients, and you'll have the chance to shape the direction of this project. But I need you to be ready for everything. It won't be easy, but I know you're the right person for the job." Mia could hardly believe it. From waiting tables to leading a major project at a top-tier company, her life had changed in ways she never thought possible. She had been given a chance, and now it was up to her to seize it. Over the next few weeks, Mia poured herself into the project. She worked closely with the team, collaborating on ideas, solving problems, and finding innovative ways to meet the needs of their clients. It was challenging, but Mia thrived. She felt more confident with each passing day, knowing that Jack was always there to support her, offering advice and encouragement when needed. One day, after a particularly successful meeting with a client, Jack called her into his office again. "Mia, you're doing an incredible job," he said, his voice full of pride. "You've really proven yourself, and I think it's time we take the next step." Mia raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Jack smiled and stood up, walking over to his desk. He handed her a piece of paper, an offer for a higher position within the company. "I'm offering you a full-time executive role. You'll have more authority, a bigger salary, and more opportunities to shape the future of this company. You've earned it." Mia couldn't believe her ears. She had gone from barely making ends meet to being offered a position that she had once only dreamed of. "Thank you, Jack," she said, her voice full of emotion. "I won't let you down." Jack nodded. "I know you won't." As Mia left Jack's office that day, she couldn't help but reflect on how far she had come. She had started with nothing but a $10 tip and a willingness to help someone in need, and now she was on the verge of achieving everything she had ever wanted. The future was hers to shape, and she was ready to take on whatever came next. Mia had settled into her new role at the company. Her transition from a waitress to an executive had been nothing short of a whirlwind, but as the weeks passed, she started to feel more and more confident in her position. She was leading a project that had the potential to transform the company, and her team was working with enthusiasm and determination. Jack had kept his promise. He had believed in her, and now she was proving him right. The days were long, and the pressure was immense, but Mia was thriving. She found herself more energized than ever, and every new challenge felt like a new opportunity. One late evening, as she was wrapping up a meeting with a client, Jack called her into his office. "Mia, I want to talk to you about something," he said as she walked in. She had grown used to the rhythm of their meetings. There was always something new and exciting to discuss. But tonight, Jack seemed different. His usual confident demeanor was replaced with a hint of uncertainty. "Is everything okay?" Mia asked, concerned. Jack gestured for her to sit. "It's just, I've been thinking a lot lately. You've been doing an incredible job, and I know you're capable of handling so much more. But there's something I want to offer you." Mia sat forward, intrigued. "What do you mean?" Jack paused before continuing. "I'm offering you the chance to run the company's next big project, a high-profile partnership with an international client. This would be your project to lead from start to finish, and I know you have the skills to make it a success." Mia's heart skipped a beat. This was the opportunity of a lifetime. She had always dreamed of leading a major project, but she never expected it to come so soon. She had worked hard to get to this point, and now it was time to prove herself even further. "I'm honored, Jack. I won't let you down," Mia said, her voice steady and confident. Jack smiled, clearly relieved. "I know you won't. I'm not worried about that. But there's something else. This project will put you in the spotlight. It will draw attention from people who will challenge you, doubt you, and question your abilities. I need you to be prepared for that." Mia nodded. "I understand. I've come this far because I've faced challenges. I'm ready for whatever comes next." Jack's eyes softened. "I believe in you, Mia. This is your moment." Over the next few weeks, Mia threw herself into the project. She worked tirelessly, collaborating with different departments, negotiating deals, and managing a team of highly skilled professionals. The pressure was intense, and the stakes were high, but Mia was determined to succeed. She remembered the days when she had been stuck in a dead-end job, struggling to make ends meet. Now, she was the one making important decisions that would shape the future of the company. Every challenge she faced only made her more resilient. But as the project progressed, Mia began to feel the weight of the responsibility. She was constantly under scrutiny, and the pressure to deliver was overwhelming at times. She started to second-guess herself, wondering if she was truly ready for the spotlight. One evening, after a particularly tough meeting with the client, Mia returned to her apartment, feeling drained. She sat down on the couch, her mind racing with doubts. Was she really cut out for this? Was she about to fail in the one moment that mattered the most? As she sat there, lost in thought, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Jack. "Mia, I just wanted to say that you're doing an incredible job. I know it's tough, but you're exactly where you need to be. Don't forget, you've already proven yourself. Keep pushing forward." Mia stared at the message, the words sinking in. Jack had always believed in her, even when she had doubts. Maybe it was time for her to believe in herself too. The next day, Mia walked into the office with renewed determination. She knew the road ahead would be difficult, but she was no longer afraid. She had come this far because she had the courage to keep going, and now it was time to finish what she had started. The following weeks were filled with long days, sleepless nights, and difficult decisions. But with every challenge, Mia grew stronger. She faced every obstacle head-on, never backing down. And when the project was finally complete, it was a massive success. The client was thrilled with the results, and Mia received praise from all sides. Jack was the first to congratulate her. "You did it, Mia. I knew you could." Mia smiled, feeling a sense of pride she had never experienced before. She had proven to herself that she was capable of more than she had ever imagined. As she stood in front of the team, taking in the applause, she realized that she had come full circle. From the struggling waitress with just $10 in her pocket to the leader of a major project, She had built her future with hard work and determination. And this was only the beginning. Mia had been riding the wave of success for months now, and it felt like everything was falling into place. Her hard work had paid off, and the project she led had made waves within the company. She was finally where she had always dreamed of being, leading major projects, making critical decisions, and, most importantly, proving to herself that she was capable of so much more than she had once believed. However, with every victory came new challenges. As the months went by, the pressure started to build again. Mia was no longer just managing one project. She was overseeing multiple high-profile deals, managing a team, and trying to maintain a delicate balance between her professional life and her personal life. The expectations were higher, the stakes even greater. She had become accustomed to long hours and late nights at the office, but as the demands grew, Mia began to feel the weight of her responsibilities more than ever before. She hadn't realized how much it was affecting her until one evening. After another grueling day of meetings, Jack called her into his office. "Mia, I need to talk to you," Jack said, his tone more serious than usual. Mia's heart skipped a beat. Was there a problem with one of the projects? She stepped into his office, unsure of what to expect. "What's going on?" she asked, trying to read his expression. Jack leaned back in his chair, his brow furrowed. "I've noticed you've been working nonstop lately," he said, his voice calm but concerned. "I know you're dedicated, and I appreciate everything you've done, but I can see that you're burning out." Mia froze. She had been so focused on her work that she hadn't even realized how exhausted she had become. She had always prided herself on being able to handle anything, but now, she couldn't deny it any longer. She was overwhelmed. "I'm fine," Mia said, forcing a smile. "Just a little tired. It's nothing I can't handle." Jack shook his head. "Mia, you don't have to prove anything to me. I can see how hard you've been working, but you need to take care of yourself. You can't keep pushing yourself like this. You're doing amazing work, but you can't do it all." Mia felt a lump form in her throat. She had always felt the need to do everything herself, to prove that she could handle anything that came her way. But here was Jack, telling her that it was okay to slow down. It was something she had never allowed herself to consider. "I don't want to let anyone down," she said quietly. "I'm scared that if I stop, everything will fall apart." Jack's eyes softened, and he stood up to walk over to her. "Listen, Mia, I know it's hard to ask for help, but you don't have to do it alone. You have a whole team behind you. Lean on them. You've earned that." Mia looked at him, feeling a mix of emotions, relief, guilt, and a deep sense of gratitude. She had worked so hard to get to this point, and now, for the first time, she was being told that it was okay to take a step back. "I don't know how to stop," she admitted, her voice barely a whisper. Jack smiled gently. "It's a process, but we'll work through it together." Over the next few weeks, Mia started to make changes. She delegated more tasks to her team, trusted them to handle the day-to-day operations, and began to take time for herself. At first, it was difficult. She felt guilty for not being constantly busy, constantly productive. But as she started to rest, to recharge, she realized just how much she had been missing. She began spending more time with her daughter, Lily, and reconnecting with the things that had always brought her joy. Slowly, Mia found a balance between work and life that she had never known before. She still worked hard, still gave everything to the projects she led, but now, she understood that taking care of herself wasn't a weakness, it was a necessity. One evening, as she sat in the park with Lily, watching her daughter play, Mia felt a deep sense of contentment. She had made it through the toughest times of her life. She had gone from struggling to make ends meet to leading major projects at a top company, and now, she was finding peace. She had learned that success wasn't just about climbing to the top. It was about finding balance, nurturing relationships, and taking care of herself along the way. As the sun set, casting a golden light across the park, Mia smiled. She had come so far, and for the first time in a long time, she was truly at peace with who she was and where she was heading. Mia had found a new rhythm in her life. The work-life balance that Jack had encouraged her to seek had brought a newfound sense of peace. She wasn't working around the clock anymore, but she still poured her heart into every project. She had learned how to delegate and trust her team, and it made her a better leader. Her confidence was growing, and so was the respect others had for her. It felt good to finally have control over her life, not just professionally, but personally too. Mia was becoming the woman she always knew she could be, a woman who knew her worth and wasn't afraid to ask for help when she needed it. But just when Mia thought life was settling into a peaceful routine, something unexpected happened that would challenge everything she had worked for. It came one evening when she received a call from Jack. "Mia, I need you to come to my office," he said. His voice was tight with urgency. "It's important." Mia's heart skipped a beat. It was rare that Jack called her for something that wasn't work-related. She grabbed her coat and headed out. When she arrived at the office, Jack was pacing back and forth. There was a seriousness to him that Mia had never seen before. "What's going on?" Mia asked, anxiety creeping into her voice. Jack stopped pacing and looked at her. "I've been thinking a lot lately. There's a potential investment opportunity that could change everything for the company. It's risky, but if it works, it could take us to the next level. But there's a catch. We need someone who can step into a leadership role and manage this. Someone who can handle pressure, make big decisions quickly. And I think you're the right person for the job." Mia felt a rush of nerves flood her system. Another big opportunity. Another chance to prove herself. But the pressure, the responsibility, it was more than anything she had taken on before. "Jack, this sounds huge. Are you sure I'm ready for something like this?" she asked, her voice uncertain. Jack smiled, though there was an intensity in his eyes. "Mia, I've seen how you've grown. You've got the skills, the knowledge, and the heart to lead this. You've handled everything else that's been thrown your way, and I trust you to make the right decisions here." Mia paused, thinking about it. She had worked hard for this moment, but could she handle the weight of such a big project? She had to admit to herself that the thought of leading this new venture thrilled her. She had come so far, and maybe this was the next step. "I'm in," she said finally, her voice steady. "I'll take the challenge." Jack's face lit up with pride. "I knew you would. Let's get started." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Mia dove into the details of the investment opportunity, working closely with Jack and his team to understand every aspect of the deal. The stakes were high, and the pressure to succeed was immense, but Mia felt more alive than ever. This was her moment to shine, to show that she was more than just a waitress turned executive. She was a force to be reckoned with. The deal began to take shape, and the more Mia worked on it, the more confident she became. She made key decisions, negotiated with stakeholders, and helped guide the project through challenges that seemed insurmountable. As the project began to gain momentum, Jack continued to offer his support, but he also gave Mia the freedom to make her own choices. He trusted her completely, and it made her feel more empowered than she ever had before. One day, as the project was nearing completion, Mia received an unexpected call from a reporter. "Mia, I hear you've been leading one of the company's biggest deals. Can you tell me more about how you got started and what it's been like for you?" the reporter asked. Mia was taken aback. She had always avoided the spotlight, preferring to let her work speak for itself. But now, her success was being recognized. "I'm just doing my job," Mia said, feeling a little uncomfortable with the attention. "I've worked hard, and I've had a lot of support from my team. I'm just lucky to be in this position." The reporter pressed for more details, but Mia stuck to the basics. She didn't want to draw too much attention to herself. As the call ended, she reflected on how far she had come. She had started from humble beginnings, working in a diner with no real prospects, and now she was leading a major project that had the potential to transform her company. The success was hers, but she knew that it wasn't just about her. It was about the team she had built, the people who believed in her, and the opportunities she had been given. Just as things seemed to be falling into place, Mia faced an unexpected challenge. The project, which had been progressing smoothly, hit a roadblock. There were issues with the funding, and the future of the deal was uncertain. Mia felt the weight of the situation bearing down on her. She had to make a tough decision, one that could either save the project or bring everything crashing down. She met with Jack to discuss the next steps. "We've come so far, but if we don't fix this now, we could lose everything," Mia said, her voice tinged with worry. Jack looked at her with a calm, steady gaze. "Mia, this is the kind of moment you've been preparing for. You've made great decisions before, and I know you'll make the right one now. Trust yourself." Mia nodded, feeling the pressure, but also feeling the strength that had carried her this far. She knew it was time to act. With Jack's guidance, Mia made the decision to push through the obstacles and secure the necessary funding. It wasn't easy, and there were setbacks along the way, but Mia's determination and leadership paid off. In the end, the project succeeded, and the company's future was secured. Mia had done it. She had overcome every obstacle, risen to every challenge, and come out stronger on the other side. As she stood in the office, looking at the team that had helped make it happen, Mia realized that this was just the beginning. She had proven herself, and now, she was ready for whatever came next. Mia had never felt more alive. The success of the project was still fresh in her mind, and as she settled into her new role, she felt the weight of her responsibilities. With Jack's guidance and her own newfound confidence, she had navigated the challenges, made tough decisions, and emerged victorious. But as much as Mia had accomplished, something inside her told her that this was just the beginning. She had worked hard to get here, but she knew there was so much more to achieve. It was a sunny afternoon when Mia sat down with Jack in his office for what seemed like another routine meeting. But Jack's expression was more serious than usual. "Mia, I've been thinking," he began, pausing for a moment. "You've been doing an exceptional job leading projects and helping grow this company, but I think it's time for you to take on an even bigger challenge." Mia raised an eyebrow, curious. "What do you mean?" Jack leaned forward, his voice steady. "I've been offered a position on the board of a larger organization. It's a huge opportunity, but it's going to require a significant amount of my time. I want to pass the torch to you. I think you're ready to take over as the CEO of this company." Mia's breath caught in her throat. CEO? The idea of being the CEO, the leader of the company, was something she had never even dreamed of just a few years ago. The thought of being responsible for everything, for every decision that would shape the company's future, felt overwhelming. But at the same time, it excited her. She had worked so hard to get to this point. She had proven herself time and time again, and now, this was the ultimate test. "Jack, I don't know what to say," Mia said, her voice shaking slightly. "Are you sure I'm ready for this?" Jack smiled warmly, his eyes full of confidence. "Mia, you've more than earned it. I've seen the way you handle pressure, the way you think strategically, and the way you care about this company and its people. You're ready for this. I believe in you." Mia sat there in silence for a moment, taking in what Jack had just said. The weight of the decision was heavy, but she could feel the fire inside her growing. She had always dreamed of being in control of her own destiny, of leading with integrity and vision. And now, that dream was within reach. "I'll do it," Mia said finally, her voice steady. "I'll take the job." Jack's smile widened, and he stood up to shake her hand. "I knew you would. This is the start of something great, Mia. You've got this." As Mia left Jack's office, she felt a rush of emotions. She was nervous, excited, and overwhelmed, all at once. The responsibility that came with being the CEO was enormous, but she knew she was ready. This was her moment to make a difference, to lead the company into a new era. The next few weeks were a whirlwind as Mia transitioned into her new role. She worked closely with Jack to learn the ins and outs of the company's operations, meeting with department heads, clients, and key partners. She had always been a quick learner, but now she was being asked to make the big decisions, the ones that would shape the company's future. As CEO, she now had the power to steer the company in any direction she chose, and the weight of that responsibility was both thrilling and terrifying. Mia spent long hours at the office, working late into the night, strategizing for the future, and building relationships with key figures in the industry. There were moments when she doubted herself, moments when she wondered if she was making the right choices, but with each challenge she faced, Mia became more confident in her decisions. Her team respected her, and they rallied behind her vision. They trusted her leadership, and that made all the difference. But as the months passed, Mia began to realize that being a CEO wasn't just about making decisions or leading the company to financial success. It was about something deeper. It was about building a culture, fostering an environment where people could thrive, and empowering others to reach their full potential. Mia had always been passionate about helping others, and now, as CEO, she was in the perfect position to do so. One day, as Mia walked through the office, she noticed a group of employees gathered in the break room, laughing and chatting. They were a diverse group, different ages, backgrounds, and experiences, but they all shared one thing in common. They had all been given the opportunity to succeed. They had all been encouraged to grow, to take risks, and to reach for something bigger than themselves. Mia smiled to herself. This was what she had always wanted to create. A workplace where people felt valued, where their voices were heard, and where they could make a real difference. That was the true meaning of leadership. As the company continued to grow, Mia became more and more focused on giving back. She launched programs to support underprivileged communities, created scholarships for aspiring entrepreneurs, and made sure that the company's success was used to uplift others. She had gone from a waitress with barely $10 to her name to a powerful CEO, but she never forgot where she came from. Mia knew that the journey wasn't over yet. There would always be new challenges, new opportunities, and new dreams to chase. But as she stood at the helm of the company, ready to lead them into the future, Mia realized that she had already achieved more than she had ever imagined. And that was only the beginning. Mia had come a long way since the days of serving coffee and worrying about how to make ends meet. She had built a successful career, transitioned into the role of CEO, and was now in charge of a company that was poised for even greater success. But despite all the progress she had made, there were moments when the pressure seemed overwhelming. As the months passed, Mia found herself balancing even more responsibilities, leading strategic meetings, overseeing large-scale projects, and maintaining the delicate relationships that were crucial to the company's growth. She was constantly on the go, her calendar packed with meetings, calls, and deadlines. She had once been the person who struggled to make ends meet, but now she was the one making the decisions that shaped not only her life, but the lives of many others. Mia had never been afraid of hard work, but there were times when she felt the weight of it all pressing down on her. It was during one of these moments of overwhelming stress that she received a call from Lily's school. Lily's teacher informed her that there had been an issue with Lily's health, and she needed to come to the school right away. The concern in the teacher's voice was enough to send Mia into a panic. She immediately left the office, trying to calm her racing thoughts. When she arrived at the school, she was greeted by the nurse, who explained that Lily had been feeling faint and dizzy. After a quick examination, the nurse reassured Mia that Lily was okay, but recommended that she take the day off to rest. Mia was relieved, but as she sat with Lily in the nurse's office, she realized just how much her life had changed. She had spent so much time focused on her career and her ambition that she had barely had time to pause and reflect on the important things in her life. For a moment, Mia allowed herself to be fully present with Lily. The little girl, still feeling a bit weak, snuggled into Mia's arms, and they sat in silence together. It was a reminder of everything that mattered most to Mia: family, love, and the bond she shared with her daughter. After taking Lily home and making sure she was comfortable, Mia found herself reflecting on the conversation she had with Jack just a few weeks ago. She had been given so much opportunity, so many chances to prove herself, but the price of success was higher than she had expected. She had reached the top, but she had nearly lost sight of what was truly important. As she looked at Lily, it became clear to Mia that she needed to make some changes in her life. She couldn't continue to push herself to the limit at the cost of her health and happiness. Mia had spent so much time proving herself to others that she had forgotten to nurture the relationships that mattered most. That evening, Mia sat down with Jack to discuss the future of the company. Jack had always been a great mentor, but Mia had started to realize that she couldn't do it all on her own. "Jack, I've been thinking," Mia began. "I've come a long way, but I need to find a balance. I can't keep running at full speed without taking a step back to care for myself and my family." Jack nodded, understanding exactly what Mia meant. "I've been there," he said. "I know what it's like to get caught up in the demands of the job. But you're right. You have to take care of yourself. You've earned your success, but that doesn't mean you have to sacrifice everything else in the process." Mia smiled, grateful for Jack's wisdom. They spent the rest of the evening discussing ways to make the company's leadership structure more collaborative, ensuring that Mia could focus on what truly mattered without burning out. They agreed to make changes, bringing in additional support to lighten Mia's load and giving her more flexibility to spend time with her daughter and focus on her own well-being. Over the next few months, Mia implemented the changes they had discussed. She delegated more responsibilities to her team, empowering them to take on leadership roles. She also took steps to make sure she could maintain a healthy work-life balance, carving out time to focus on her health and her family. As Mia shifted her focus, she found herself more energized and present, both at work and at home. Her relationship with Lily flourished, and the company continued to grow, but now, Mia felt more fulfilled than ever before. One afternoon, as Mia and Lily walked through the park, Mia couldn't help but feel a deep sense of gratitude. She had reached the top, but the journey had taught her that success wasn't just about climbing the corporate ladder. It was about the people you meet along the way, the relationships you build, and the balance you create in your life. Mia had built a career that she could be proud of, but she had also learned that taking care of herself and her loved ones was just as important. As they walked hand in hand, Mia looked at her daughter and knew that no matter where life took her, she had everything she needed right there in front of her. Mia had finally found a sense of balance between her work and personal life. She had learned the hard way that no amount of success in business could replace the joy she felt in being present with her daughter, Lily. For the first time in a long time, Mia felt at peace. The changes she had made to her work schedule, her ability to delegate tasks, and her focus on maintaining a healthy work-life balance had paid off. But as the company continued to grow, new challenges began to surface. The stakes were higher than ever before, and Mia knew that the road ahead would not always be easy. As the new year approached, Mia was invited to a high-profile business conference in New York. It was an opportunity to connect with some of the biggest names in the industry, and she knew it could be a game-changer for the company. Jack encouraged her to attend, and she decided it would be a good chance to make connections and learn from some of the top executives in the field. On the day of the conference, Mia arrived at the luxurious hotel, her nerves tingling with anticipation. She had always been a little intimidated by these events, but she was no longer the same person who had first walked into Jack's office all those months ago. She was a CEO, a leader, and she had earned her place here. The conference was filled with influential people, all eager to discuss new ideas and share their experiences. Mia spent the first few hours networking, introducing herself to fellow CEOs, and taking notes during the keynote speeches. She felt energized by the conversations she was having, but as the day wore on, she began to feel the familiar weight of pressure creeping in. It was a lot to juggle, and as much as she had grown, Mia was starting to feel the strain. During a lunch break, she found herself sitting alone at a table in the hotel restaurant, scrolling through her emails. She had been so focused on the conference that she had barely had time to check in with her team back at the office. As she sipped her coffee, she heard someone approach. "Mind if I join you?" a voice asked. Mia looked up and was surprised to see a familiar face standing before her. Lily's teacher, Mrs. Montgomery. "Of course, please sit," Mia said, smiling in surprise. It was unexpected to run into someone from her personal life here, but she was glad to see a friendly face. Mrs. Montgomery sat down, looking at Mia with curiosity. "How's Lily?" she asked. Mia smiled softly. "She's doing great. Thank you for asking. She's really starting to enjoy school now, and she's been talking nonstop about how much she loves her art class." Mrs. Montgomery's eyes lit up. "That's wonderful to hear. She's such a bright girl. You must be proud." Mia felt a wave of warmth in her chest. "I am. She's been my motivation through all of this." Mrs. Montgomery paused, her expression becoming more thoughtful. "You know, Mia, I've been watching you from afar. It's amazing what you've accomplished. But I have to ask, how are you really doing? I can see how much you're juggling, and I want to make sure you're not losing yourself in all of it." Mia was taken aback by the question. She had never been one to openly talk about her struggles, especially not with someone who wasn't part of her immediate circle. But as she looked at Mrs. Montgomery's sincere expression, she realized that this was exactly the kind of conversation she had been avoiding. "I'm doing well, I think," Mia said, her voice hesitant. "But it's been harder than I thought it would be. I want to be the best leader I can be for my company, but I also don't want to lose sight of what matters most, Lily, my health, and just being present." Mrs. Montgomery nodded, understanding in her eyes. "You've come so far, Mia, and it's clear that you've worked incredibly hard to get here. But remember, you don't have to do it all by yourself. You have people who care about you and who want to help, even if you don't always ask. Sometimes it's okay to lean on others." Mia felt a lump form in her throat. She had spent so long trying to prove herself, trying to be everything to everyone, that she had forgotten how to ask for help when she needed it. Mrs. Montgomery's words hit her like a revelation. "I think I've been trying to do too much," Mia admitted, her voice barely a whisper. "I've been so focused on work that I haven't taken the time to really take care of myself, or to appreciate the people around me." Mrs. Montgomery gave her a warm, reassuring smile. You're not alone in this, Mia. We all go through those moments where we forget that it's okay to take a step back. Just don't forget that the people who care about you are here for you, and they want to see you succeed in every way, not just at work. Mia nodded, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. She had been so caught up in the pressure of leadership and success that she had lost sight of the simple truths that truly mattered. She realized that, in order to continue being the best version of herself for her team and her daughter, she needed to take care of her own well-being. That evening, after the conference, Mia returned to her hotel room and took a long, deep breath. She looked out the window, taking in the view of the city below. There was so much ahead of her, new opportunities, new challenges, but she also knew that she needed to find balance. She couldn't pour from an empty cup, and if she wanted to continue succeeding, she had to take care of herself first. With renewed clarity, Mia made a commitment to herself that night. She would continue to lead with passion and purpose, but she would also prioritize her own health and happiness. For the first time in a long time, Mia felt a sense of peace, knowing that she didn't have to do it all alone. Mia stood by the window of her apartment, looking out over the city. The soft glow of the streetlights below seemed to mirror the calm that was slowly settling in her heart. Life had changed so much in the past year. She had gone from barely scraping by, worried about paying bills, to being the CEO of a rapidly growing company. But the journey had been anything but easy. She had worked tirelessly, pushed herself beyond what she thought was possible, and taken on responsibilities that seemed impossible at times. She had learned valuable lessons, not just about business, but about herself. Mia knew that the most important lesson she had learned was the importance of balance. It was easy to get caught up in the thrill of success, to want to keep climbing higher, to prove that she was capable of handling it all. But the truth was, she couldn't do it all alone. She had started asking for help when she needed it, and for the first time in years, she was truly taking care of herself. Her relationship with Lily was stronger than ever. They spent more time together now, and Mia made it a priority to attend every school event, every ballet recital, and every family dinner. It was the little moments that mattered most, and Mia was no longer willing to let them slip away. As much as her work had become her passion, Mia realized that her true fulfillment came from the people she loved. Her team at the company had flourished under her leadership, and together, they had accomplished incredible things. They had created a culture of support and collaboration, and Mia felt an overwhelming sense of pride when she looked at all they had achieved. But even with all the progress, Mia was aware that life had a way of throwing curveballs. Just as things seemed to be running smoothly, a new challenge emerged. It started with a phone call late one afternoon from a former business partner. The message was brief but alarming. Mia, there's something you need to know. There's been a leak of confidential information, and it's a security risk. Mia felt the air leave her lungs. She had worked so hard to build trust with her clients, her team, and her partners, and the thought of something jeopardizing that trust was devastating. She quickly arranged a meeting with her team to address the issue. As the team gathered in the conference room, Mia's mind raced. This was a crisis, and it needed to be handled with care. What do we know so far? Mia asked, her voice calm but firm. Jack, who had remained a close mentor to Mia throughout her time as CEO, stood up to brief the group. We've traced the source of the leak to a third-party contractor who had access to sensitive files. We're working with our legal and cybersecurity teams to contain the situation, but it's going to take time. Mia nodded, her mind already running through 100 possible scenarios. This wasn't just about protecting their company. It was about protecting the trust they had built with their clients. We need to act quickly, she said. Let's prioritize security and transparency. I want to make sure our clients know we are handling this and that we are doing everything possible to protect their interests. As the meeting continued, Mia felt the weight of the situation press down on her. She had faced many challenges before, but this felt different. It wasn't just about fixing a problem. It was about rebuilding trust. It was about proving that the integrity of the company she had worked so hard to build was more important than any success or deal. Over the next few weeks, Mia and her team worked tirelessly to resolve the issue. They implemented stricter security protocols, conducted thorough audits, and reached out to their clients to reassure them that they were taking every step to protect their information. It was a long, stressful process, but Mia's leadership and determination helped the company weather the storm. During this time, she found herself relying more and more on the support of her team. They had been there for her when she needed them most, and now it was her turn to do the same for them. The experience also reminded Mia of the importance of the people who were closest to her. She spent more time with Lily, taking her to the park, cooking dinner together, and sharing those quiet moments that meant so much. Mia also made a point to check in with her employees, ensuring they were managing the stress and pressure that came with the situation. When the crisis finally passed, and the company emerged stronger and more secure than before, Mia took a moment to reflect. She had faced one of her greatest challenges yet, and she had handled it with grace and resilience. But more than that, she had learned that no matter how successful she became, the true measure of success wasn't just about achievements or accolades. It was about the people you surrounded yourself with, the relationships you built, and the integrity you maintained. As Mia sat with Lily that evening, watching the sunset from their living room, she realized how far she had come. She had found a balance in her life, a balance between her career and her personal life, between ambition and self-care, between leadership and humility. And for the first time in a long time, Mia felt at peace, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, she was ready to face them with strength, wisdom, and the unwavering support of those she loved. Mia sat quietly in her office late one evening, her gaze fixed on the city skyline. The past few months had been nothing short of a roller coaster. From the thrill of becoming the CEO of a growing company to the stress of dealing with security breaches and the constant balancing act between her personal life and career, Mia had come to realize that no achievement came without its challenges. She had come a long way from the days when she worked tirelessly as a waitress just to make ends meet. Now, as a successful businesswoman and a mother, she had reached a point where the weight of her responsibilities was both empowering and overwhelming. Yet, Mia felt more grounded than ever before. She had learned the importance of prioritizing her health and well-being and, more importantly, the value of the people around her. As the company grew, so did her relationships with her team. Mia knew she couldn't have reached this point without the support of the incredible people she worked with, and she was determined to keep nurturing those connections. One of the biggest changes she had made in her leadership style was learning to trust others more, to let go of the need to control everything. She had surrounded herself with a capable team, and now she could focus on the bigger picture. But as the company expanded, Mia also understood that her work was far from over. She knew that the success they had achieved so far was just the beginning, and she had to keep pushing forward to ensure that the company continued to thrive. It was during this time that Mia was approached by a potential investor, someone with a reputation for being tough and demanding. The investor had heard about Mia's leadership and was interested in backing the company's next big expansion. Mia felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. She had faced challenges before, but this felt different. This deal could be a game changer, but it could also come with risks that were hard to predict. As the negotiations began, Mia worked closely with her team to assess the potential benefits and drawbacks. The pressure mounted as the days passed, and she found herself increasingly consumed by the deal. She was determined to make the right choice for the company, but doubts started to creep in. Would the expansion stretch them too thin? Was it the right move at this point in their journey? The weight of these decisions was heavy, but Mia knew that this was part of what it meant to lead. She was responsible not just for the company's success, but for the lives and careers of everyone who worked with her. One evening, after a particularly intense meeting with the investor, Mia sat at her desk, her head in her hands. She had done everything she could to keep the company on the path to success. But now, with this new opportunity on the table, the stakes were higher than ever. She needed to make a decision, and fast. But as the pressure mounted, Mia remembered the advice she had received from Jack earlier in her career. When in doubt, trust your instincts. Her instincts had served her well in the past, and now, they were telling her that this was the right move. It wouldn't be easy, and there would be challenges ahead, but Mia knew that growth always came with a price. After spending some time weighing her options, Mia made the decision to move forward with the investor's offer. It was risky, but it was also an opportunity that could propel the company into the next phase of its growth. She reached out to the investor and confirmed the deal. The next day, Mia gathered her team to share the news. There was excitement in the room as they discussed the next steps, but Mia couldn't help but feel a little nervous. This was a big leap, but it was one she was ready to take. As the months went by, the expansion began to take shape. There were hurdles, of course, unexpected delays, new challenges, but Mia was ready for all of it. She used everything she had learned from her journey to navigate the complexities of the expansion. As the company grew, so did her confidence. She had faced her doubts head-on, made the tough decisions, and emerged stronger than ever. With the support of her team, Mia was able to lead the company to even greater heights. But through it all, she never lost sight of what mattered most. The company's success was important, but her relationships with her team, her family, and herself were what truly kept her grounded. Looking back, Mia realized that success wasn't just about climbing higher. It was about finding balance, learning from every experience, and building something meaningful. She had started with nothing but a $10 tip and a desire to make a difference, and now, she was leading a company that was making a real impact. As she looked ahead to the future, Mia felt a sense of excitement. There would be more challenges, more decisions to make, but she knew she was ready for whatever came next. She had built her career on hard work, dedication, and the belief that anything was possible. And now, as she moved forward, Mia was determined to continue growing, not just as a leader, but as a person who understood the true value of success. Mia sat at her desk, looking at the team around her. The company had come a long way since she first took the reins. The expansion had been a success, and the company was now a household name in the industry. But as much as she had achieved, Mia knew that success wasn't just about business deals or high-profile clients. It was about the journey, the lessons learned along the way, and the people she had met. The pressure to keep pushing forward was always there, but Mia had learned the importance of taking a step back, reflecting, and appreciating how far she had come. As she looked at the team, she realized that it wasn't just her hard work that had gotten them to this point. It was the collective effort of everyone in the room. Together, they had built something meaningful. The company's culture of collaboration, support, and innovation had been the driving force behind their success. As CEO, Mia had made difficult decisions, faced numerous challenges, and taken risks that had ultimately paid off. But none of it would have been possible without the incredible people she had surrounded herself with. She looked at Jack, who had been with her every step of the way. He had been more than just a mentor. He had become a trusted advisor, a friend. Jack had always believed in her, even when she doubted herself. His unwavering support had been a constant throughout her journey, and she knew that she could not have done it without him. "You did it, Mia," Jack said, his voice filled with pride. "We did it," Mia replied, looking around at the team. "This success isn't just mine. It's all of ours." The team applauded, and Mia felt a sense of pride swell inside her. They had come so far, and there was still so much more to accomplish. The road ahead was unknown, but Mia felt more prepared than ever before. She had built a strong foundation, one that was rooted in values that went beyond profit margins and deadlines. It was about building a legacy, one that would stand the test of time. After the meeting, Mia walked back to her office, her mind racing with ideas for the future. She had learned so much in the past few years, but she knew that there was still so much more to learn. She had discovered that success wasn't a destination, it was a journey. And along that journey, there would be highs and lows, wins and losses. But as long as she kept moving forward, she knew that she was on the right path. Mia's phone buzzed, pulling her from her thoughts. It was a message from Lily. "Mom, I finished my homework and I was thinking we could go to the park. I miss spending time with you." Mia smiled as she read the message. She hadn't realized how much she had missed those simple moments with her daughter. She quickly typed back, "I'd love to, sweetie. Let's go in an hour." As she put the phone down, Mia realized that, despite all the challenges and achievements, it was these moments with the people she loved that truly made everything worth it. She had built a career that she could be proud of, but the most important thing in her life was her family. No amount of success could ever replace the joy she felt in being present with them. Mia took a deep breath, her heart full. She had made it. She had worked hard, faced her fears, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. She had learned the value of trusting others, taking time for herself, and never losing sight of what truly mattered. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Mia was ready for whatever came next. As she left her office and headed to the park to meet Lily, she felt a deep sense of peace. She had built a life she could be proud of, and she was finally in a place where she could enjoy the fruits of her labor. The journey wasn't over, but for the first time in a long time, Mia knew that she was exactly where she was meant to be. She had started with nothing but a desire to make a difference, and now, she was leading a company that was changing lives. She had faced her fears, embraced the unknown, and built something that would last. And with her daughter by her side, she knew that no matter what the future held, she was ready to take it on with everything she had. In this collection of touching stories, we follow Mia's incredible journey from a waitress struggling to make ends meet to the CEO of a successful company. Through hard work, determination, and unwavering support from those around her, Mia learns that success is not just about achieving professional goals, but also about finding balance in life. Along the way, she faces challenges that test her resolve, including a major crisis that forces her to confront her own limits. These touching stories highlight the power of trust, resilience, and the importance of family and personal well-being. As Mia rises to the top, she discovers that true leadership isn't about doing it all alone, but about leaning on others and lifting them up along the way. With each victory, Mia learns more about herself and what really matters in life. These touching stories not only inspire, but also remind us of the importance of staying true to ourselves and never giving up, no matter the obstacles. Through her trials and triumphs, Mia's story resonates with anyone who has ever faced adversity and dared to dream big. Touching stories like these prove that with perseverance, you can achieve greatness, but the journey is just as important as the destination.